Liss, and the name of the program is The Way to Go. I invite you to join me each week at this time as we explore places to go and things to do. Today we are exploring beauty, and we're talking about natural beauty. We're talking about a wonderful, wonderful place in Riverdale called Wave Hill. And I'm delighted that my guests today are two of the people who are very much involved in making Wave Hill what it is. My guests are Stephanie Ehrlich and David Manners, and I'm so glad that you're both here today. And so let's get right to it. What is the essence that makes Wave Hill what it is?
Well, you started saying it yourself. It's this very stunning and special beauty of the place, and that people always talk of Wave Hill in those sort of terms, but it really doesn't describe well. It's something that comes to life in the experience. In words, simply, it's a public garden and cultural institution located in the Bronx, overlooking the Hudson and Palisades, and we're most known as a garden. But it's dedicated to relationships between people and nature. So what it actually becomes is how people experience it through programs that bring that to life.
So a public garden, is it a place to go and smell the roses?
Oh, yes.
Absolutely.
Oh, yes.
Is it a place for relaxation? Is it a place to learn? I know a lot of what you do, Stephanie, is involved with getting across information to people. Why don't we talk about what you do for a moment, and then we'll get into that.
Okay. I coordinate public programs, which means that drop-in programs, people that come on the weekends, on Saturdays and Sundays, come and participate in programs, whether it's some sort of hands-on gardening program or a nature craft program. I'm the person who puts that together. And
it's an extensive program. We'll get into some of the details on that as we get into it. But you have other jobs, too.
Yes, I do. Many jobs. One of feels like my full-time job right now is planning for our 30th birthday celebration. Wave Hill will turn 30 as a public garden in April, and we're celebrating by having a gigantic parade on April 29th, and that's basically what I'm planning for.
And you also have some outreach programs?
Yes, I do some outreach as well, going out to the community beyond Riverdale, trying to bring people in to Wave Hill.
You have school programs, don't you?
Right. I don't work so much with school programs as I do with the public programs, although they pull me in. My background is in education, so when they need extra hands, I get pulled into school programs as well.
And on top of that, on the weekends?
On the weekends, I wear many hats. I'm the weekend manager, along with our security supervisor, Roger. So.
It's a funny term that you just used. You say you wear many hats, and I'll just kind of hold back for a few minutes so people will be able to find out one of the many hats that you wear at times. Right. So let's talk a bit about the background. How did it all start? Where did Wave Hill come from, and what brought it to where it is today?
From a modern standpoint, from looking at what we're celebrating as our 30th birthday, Wave Hill Incorporated was found in 1965 to manage and operate a former private estate that had been given to the city by the Perkins Freeman family.
City-owned now.
So it's now city-owned. We're one of New York's 31 city-owned cultural institutions, just like the zoo or the gardens or the Metropolitan Museum of Art or whatever, which are all operating in city-owned property, but an independent nonprofit corporation raises the funds and runs it.
And it's extensive. It's 28 acres.
It's 28 acres.
And overlooks, of course, a great view of the Palisades and all. But there are buildings. So why don't we start with the buildings? You've got two buildings. Is that what it is?
There are three actually, although one isn't quite so visible. And if you count the greenhouses, I guess more. But the origin of it all would be Wave Hill House, which was originally built in 1843. And the property was then united. A man named George Perkins around the turn of the century began buying up several estates and putting them together into one whole entity. And actually, to tie the land together from a visual standpoint, he built what was called the recreation building. People don't often see it. They'll be standing there looking out over what looks like a terraced lawn. It's actually the roof of a building that's underneath it, used mostly by the education program. So we have Glendore House, which is on the site where George Perkins himself had lived, but is a substitute for the house that he had lived in. That burned down, and a replacement was built in the 20s. Wave Hill House, which was started in 1843, as I said, and has been added on to since, and then that recreation building, and then we have greenhouses that are divided into.
Now we do have a photo of one of the houses. Which house is this?
Well, this would be Wave Hill House here, and that's also the site of our visitor services. There, the cafe is there, the gift shop is in there. Concerts are held inside the large hall there, and
is it a large house?
Yeah.
It's larger than what I live in.
Definitely has a mansion feel to it, I think.
And now Wave Hill has art galleries as well. So there's you talk about some of the indoor activities. It also has are there galleries in this building?
The main art gallery is in the other building, the Glendore House that I've been talking about, and that what we call our Glendore Gallery is downstairs. In Wave Hill House, we have something called the Cafe Gallery. That's paintings that are more for viewing and for sale, as well as ambience in the cafe. Whereas Glendore are the pure exhibition paintings.
Now, there have been some very notable residents who have lived there over the years. Any name dropping that we want to do at this point?
Should we name drop?
We can start with Teddy Roosevelt.
Right. Mark Twain.
Toscanini.
Now, they lived there as tenants at some time?
Roosevelt's family rented Wave Hill in the summers when he was
About 12?
13 years old. And we know from some of the letters and documentation of that era that it was his time there that was when he first developed his interest in naturalism and the great outdoors came from his playing at Wave Hill.
Yeah.
Really?
Wasn't he so sickly and he needed to get out and
Now,
breathe?
Toscanini also had another home in Riverdale, but he lived here first, is that what?
I think he was in Wave Hill House first, and then,
I don't know.
but I'm not.
You mentioned the hothouse. Now, the hothouse is, and we're talking about gardens now,
Sure.
because this is really the forte of what we're talking about. Let's talk about that hothouse and what's in there and what it's all about.
Wow. Well, right now, when you go in, I guess they call it the Palm House, it's just ablaze with flowers. It's gorgeous right now. To the right, you walk in and you have the Desert House. That has succulents and cacti, and that's fantastic. I guess our succulents are going to be at the Rockefeller flower show as well, and they're highlighting succulents. And then you go to the left and you have rainforest kind of
That's
plants.
all. Is it a huge hothouse and
I don't know. Is it huge? I think it's
No, I
substantial.
wouldn't. No, I think it's.
bigger than you live in?
Yeah. Right.
No, but it's like the other things at Wave Hill. It's dramatic and yet intimate. Everything is on a very personal scale, and so you relate to it on that sort of level. It's not grand, awesome size.
Now Wave Hill is an outdoor place. We talked about the buildings, but it is an outdoor place, and many of your programs are outdoors or built around the outdoor.
Yes.
Let's talk about some of the programs.
Well, school programs are almost entirely outdoors. The children, I guess this spring, will be doing something, Flowers to Buzz About, which is really sweet. Younger children, kindergarten, first, second graders go and learn about flowers and gardens and stuff like that. But for public programs, we try to do as much outside as possible, whether it's a tour or some sort of a hands-on program set up in front of this abandoned garage right now, just to catch people as they come in. And I remember last fall we did something on sharpening up your garden tools, sort of a how-to thing. So
is the greatest appeal for garden-oriented people?
I would say we have a large following of people who are interested in gardens. But then again, I think a lot of our folks come out just to enjoy the peace just to come and see a beautiful place.
It's an oasis, isn't it?
Yeah.
One of the outside of the programs, one of the favorite activities is people just come and sit in what are called Wave Hill chairs, and they bring a book and they can just enjoy the place as well it is. If they're New Yorkers, their own.
Yeah.
Landscaping, of course, is a subject that you people do very, very well. So people come because of the ability to see the methods of learning how to landscape. But we're talking about Oasis and the view from the gardens across the Hudson to the Palisades. I guess that is a great peaceful place to sit.
It's impossible to believe that you're in New York. It's just an amazing experience, and I feel it every day when I come to work there. I walk out on the grounds, and there's that view.
And it's framed by the garden. You know, you've got this perspective in close, and then you got this view, and you're sitting out there, as you say, in a completely different world.
And then the endless fascination of the gardens, from taking in that grand spectacle to the details that just continue to emerge going through the gardens. They're spectacular. Marco Polo Stefano, who's the director of horticulture, is internationally acclaimed and really recognized as one of the great gardeners with what he's done there at Wave Hill. Is just fascinating.
Before we get to the specifics of your 30th birthday, which we're going to talk about it in some detail, what's the best way to see Wave Hill? Are there better days to go than others? I know Saturday is a free day.
Saturday mornings.
Saturday mornings are
from 9
free.
to 12 through September in honor of our birthday.
And what's the best way to go? I'm going to Wave Hill for the first time. What do I do?
Just to back up a little bit, just to clear up, it is free during the week, and then the Saturday mornings, and then we have an admission on from Saturday afternoon on.
Okay, so it's only
Sunday.
the weekends that there is a cost.
Right, and we have a visitor's guide that will show people around. But I think there are two ways, and keeping in mind that the mission of Wave Hill is fostering relations between people and nature, and one is to just walk out onto the grounds and let that unfold where your eye and your mind and your energy takes you, and make sure you get up into the gardens and you walk around and see them and get the feeling for that. The other is to focus on a particular program. Like, you might be coming for, like on the first Thursday of every month, we have the Gardener's Hour, where the gardeners stop and talk and explain to the public what it is, their work in process. Or we might be having a family art project if you have children on every weekend from 1 to 4 in the afternoon. Children and adults collaborate on creating an imaginative visual artwork. Or you may come and see an exhibition, or simply sit on the terrace in the cafe. So if you're serendipitous, you might want to come and wander around and see what happens, or if you like to be a little more focused, come and find a program that's your area of access to it.
We're going to get into more details of that and into some information about your 30th birthday bash in a moment, but I do want to remind our audience that we're talking about Wave Hill, that wonderful place in Riverdale, and that my guests today are two of the people who are very much involved with it, Stephanie Ehrlich and David Manning. So now let's talk about the 30th anniversary and the parade, and we are going to have something to show. First of all, what's happening? What is this parade?
What is this parade? Well, I think that that our president puts it best. Kate French says that she wants this birthday to be an extension of our Family Art Project. Our Family Art Project happens, as David was saying, every Saturday and Sunday from 1 to 4. It's led by an artist and naturalist whose name is Noah Bain, and he's fantastic. And what he does with children is he brings them out into the woods or out into the gardens and has them experience nature, and then they come back into the Learning Center and they create some sort of art based on what they've seen, based on nature. And oftentimes they parade, because it's
during the course of the year?
During the course of the day. During a Saturday or a Sunday, they'll just go out and they'll parade, and it's fantastic, because a lot of times they're doing wonderful projects that flow, like they did windsocks the beginning of March, and those flow along, and it's just beautiful for regular visitors to see children and their parents just walking through. So what we wanted to do for the 30th birthday celebration was take that and multiply it to the zillionth degree and make a gigantic parade based on
is
something
every
that's so
day a
successful.
parade as far as you're concerned there, David?
Well, in some
a
ways, I
sense.
suppose it is.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
we're always walking back and forth between one house and
Parades are going on all
Right.
the time. And you did bring along a piece of art. I
Sure.
said that you wore many hats, and maybe this is a good opportunity
Wanna see my hat?
to show your hat.
Okay.
And now, what is this hat?
It is. I'm actually not going to wear it because it's going to
It's
fall off.
okay. It's
Yeah,
fine.
shall I wear it? It's a daffodil hat, and it is something that Noah, our artist, concocted. It's just yellow paper, and children have been making these for the past couple years around this time of year. Now that the daffodils are coming up, and we think that they're great. So this is one of the activities that's going to happen on the day of the 30th birthday party, and hopefully tons of people will be wearing these for the parade.
And,
So.
so let's talk about the parade for a minute now. The parade itself is going to start where and go where, and who's involved?
Well, the whole day is festive, and people will be making things going towards the parade. They'll be making the hats. They'll be making little flower shakers. I'm sorry I didn't bring those. They're really cute. And there's going to be a lot of music. A group called the Spirit Ensemble is really very rhythmic and very fun, so the shakers will go right along with that. Parachute dances, right. Earlier in the day, there will be parachute dances happening on the lower lawns, big colorful parachutes. But the parade itself starts at what we call the back gate, and will, with the tune of the music and the rhythm, just pick people up as it goes along. And we'll march basically from one end of the grounds to the other and come back and seeing beautiful things along the way. We're going to have a gigantic, 7'30" in the flower
Talk
garden.
about gigantic. You've also brought along some very interesting butterflies that will be in the parade.
Yes.
And why don't we show them now?
Okay.
And
Yeah. The idea behind the parade is to have people see enlarged reasons for coming to Wave Hill. So there are beautiful butterflies at Wave Hill.
how were these made? They were made by staff?
Oh, no. Actually, these were made by volunteer. George is a professional artist, and he volunteered his time. He's actually back at Wave Hill right now making more butterflies. And there will be many, many of these. There'll be butterflies, there'll be bees, there'll be gigantic flowers, all kinds of things in the parade.
And you're also going to have a noted guest who's going to participate in the parade.
Right. Maybe you want to talk about that?
Mrs. Giuliani is going to be coming with one of the kids. Maybe carrying a butterfly.
That's a gala event. Well, it sounds like a great, great party.
And free cake for
Free
everyone.
cake, yes, free cake for all.
It's very, very important element of it. The Wave Hill not only is different for the party, but Wave Hill is different in all different seasons. Is there, of course, spring is a wonderful time when you're talking about a place with gardens. What are the changes that take place on an annual basis? Of course, you've got the blooming flowers, the emerging flowers in the spring.
The excitement of the emergence of spring, and it happens every year. Last year, of course, after the terrible winter that we had, people were just hungry for it. It was just magnificent. But seeing the changes every day, new flowers coming up in the wild garden, just things that you never even imagined, just suddenly appearing. And then in summer, then of course it gets, it's warmer, calmer. Everything is lush and full and
colorful. I know that there's an art as well as a science of putting together a garden that is beautiful. You talk about a green thumb. What color is your head gardener's thumb? It must be.
Mighty green.
All colors. He's
Emerald.
known as a colorist, and there's just color all over the place, and not just from the flowers, but he works a lot with the color of leaves and the structure of plants, and it's a term that's used a lot in gardening called plantsmanship, and it's this astonishing ability to put one color idea and structure next to another and let it become something. He doesn't believe in a garden as a formal, pre-planned, rigid concept. He always talks about it. It's a work in process. It's always changing. It's always growing.
Serendipitous, actually.
Yeah.
You know.
I think that's the marvelous thing about it is you never know what's around the next corner, and as you want, or the next day. What happens in the winter?
I liked it.
Winter is...
This was my first winter there, and I really enjoyed it. I think what David was talking about in terms of structure, you really get to see the trees without the leaves, you get to see the plants, and yet there is still color. Marco manages to plant things that have a little bit of color. I mean, there's a gorgeous holly tree out in front of Glendore House that had the reddest berries all through the winter. So... And
the vistas, of course, of the river and Palisades can open up without the leaves on the trees. And then again, not so much this winter, last winter, watching the ice flow in the Hudson glistening off the Palisades was
And I think this would be an appropriate point for us to talk about the location. Now, how does one get to Wave Hill?
Well, from the north, you would take probably the easiest way is find the sawmill and onto the Henry Hudson. And exit at 254th Street, and from there just follow the signs to the Wave Hill
There
gate.
are signs on various poles that guide. It's very close, isn't it?
Yeah.
And there's adequate parking facilities, of course.
Well, we have an overflow parking area that we, in the summers, that we use, where we have a shuttle van going back and forth to that. And we've also got, if people don't want to bring their car, the Metro North station in Riverdale is very close. It's an uphill walk, so if somebody would have a difficult time with an uphill walk, they should avoid that. But if you're a little hardy or want some exercise, it's only about a 5-minute walk to our gate.
And Riverdale is such a beautiful area around there, so it's great. Now you're open every day?
Except Monday.
Except Monday.
Tuesday through Sunday.
And I repeat that it's free except for Saturday afternoon and Sunday. Is that correct? And what we ought to do as well is to give a telephone number that people can call for further information. So why don't we do that?
Okay, that's 718-549-3200.
And we're going to put that number up in the closing credits so people who did get their pen ready at the moment could write it down. So where is it going? It's always changing. It changes every day, every week, every season. Are there plans for other changes? I mean, there are massive changes, and it must be a tremendous project putting something like this together.
Changes.
I think we're thinking maybe at the moment less in terms of changes and more in terms of remaining what we are. The Wave Hill has spent 30 years maturing and getting to this point of vitality and excitement in its programs, and we're dealing with times that are very difficult for cultural institutions. And like one of the things we're emphasizing at the moment on the fundraising side is an endowment that will help buffer us against the constant cutbacks and in budget and all. And so one of the exciting things that we're looking ahead to now is completing our endowment and having that funding available so we can continue to have the kinds of programs we have.
You do have membership available. And
we have a very active membership program, and that's an important part of being there. And the exciting thing about that, I mean, you not only save the admission money on the weekends and a lot of other benefits. There's some very nice benefits, but it's that very special feeling of walking through the gate and feeling like you're a part of it that I think is the most important thing for a member.
And I think our members really do feel that way.
Yeah. We talked about the programs. How does one put together the extensive list of programs? We haven't gone down. Of course, people can call the number and get a copy of the newsletter, which has an awful lot of information on. How does one put together a program like that? Your background is in education?
Sure. Yeah, my background is in education. There's also a public programs committee, which is comprised of some of the other educators on staff, one of the school programs people, our interpretive gardener, and the director of education and public programs. Sometimes visitor services people sit in. And as sort of a group, we come together, we throw some ideas around, and then deadlines come up, like having to get the calendar together, and I say, okay, what are we doing?
But you must have enormous knowledge of the field and who's available?
I don't know about enormous, but I have some knowledge about who's out there in terms of being a naturalist or being an artist. People who really understand Wave Hill, who will share our enthusiasm for it. Somewhat so.
It's an interesting comment. You said share our enthusiasm for it. As I talk to you both, I see an enormous amount of enthusiasm. This is not just a job for you two.
No, it's a great
You
place.
talk about people who are members walking through the gates and feeling a part of it. I can see, although you quote work there, that you're in love with the place. And
I go to events. People ask me what I do, and I say I'm public relations manager for a place that everybody loves.
It's funny.
They sort of look at me and they say, "Oh yeah, right. This is just a line." And then they say, "Where?" And I say, "Wave Hill." And they say, "Oh, I understand."
And I sure understand, just talking to you both, that it's a great place to love. And I also understand that we've run out of time. So I thank you both for coming. We've been talking today with two of the people who are very, very much involved with Wave Hill, a wonderful, wonderful place in Riverdale. They are Stephanie Ehrlich and David Manning, and I thank them both for being here today. I'm Norman Liss. The name of the program is The Way to Go, and until next week at this time, enjoy yourself.